All right, now that you're done with your introduction, we're going to continue with our race argumentative essay, and we're going to be working on our first body paragraph. And remember, your first body paragraph is the second reason from your thesis statement, second most convincing reason. Remember, we don't want to start with our strongest, we don't want to start with our weakest, we want to start with our middle one. So first you'll see the same thing that we normally see when we write an essay, and that's to restate an answer. That's the R and the A of race. When we restate an answer, if you look down here at your notes, it says restate an answer with your claim. Your restate is your claim. Mercy killing is or is not justified because your answer is your second most convincing reason. But we're just going to copy that. Mercy killing. Obviously, you guys are going to write whatever your thesis statement has written down already. But this time, you're just listing your second most convincing reason. And understand that that is the topic of this paragraph. So if you are using the reason that mercy killing is justified because the financial stress on a hospital or a family is too much, that's all that you're going to write. That means that you're finding evidence when you cite things. You're going to be finding evidence that supports this reason that goes in the blank. If you are looking at evidence that supports another reason, that is not going to work. So make sure you know exactly what your reason is, what you're typing in this blank here, and that the evidence that we work on finding throughout this video is something that you're keeping on topic. So if you need to pause right now, go to your own template and type in your restate and answer, go ahead and do so. All right, so today we're going to be working on the cites. We're working on finding evidence or examples that support that reason. When you cite evidence, you want to use the sentence stem that says according to. According to, and then in quotations, we're going to put whatever source we're looking at. You're either going to write on page or in paragraph. Then we're going to embed a quotation, which means you'll do a comma, quotation, and then you will write your sentence. How are you going to find evidence? We read so many things. You don't have the papers. What are we going to do? Attached to these assignments are all of the resources that we used. So we really have essentially 3 articles and a book that you can pull from. If you look down here in the box, it tells you the same thing. Use the articles attached to support your reasoning. So the articles attached are these. Number 1, pros and cons of euthanasia. If you are using the example that healthcare costs are too much on a hospital or too much on a family, then you're going to want to look in your pro-euthanasia arguments, find that paragraph. Look, paragraph 11. Healthcare cost is and will always be a concern for the family, irrespective of euthanasia being legalized. So what I can do then, in my first blank, I will put according to, what's the title of that? Oh, right, pros and cons of euthanasia. On page, it's really 2 pages. So instead of using on page, I'm going to use in paragraph. In paragraph, and look at that, I have the 11 right there. So I'm going to put 11 in this blank. Then I will cite a piece of evidence. The evidence in paragraph 11 is 1 sentence. So I'm just going to either copy and paste it or retype it into this blank. Now, how do I know that evidence matches? I know I'm talking about finances and hospitals and families. This sentence is talking about those same things. It supports my justification if I was writing that kind of essay. So that would count as evidence. Now, if you want to use evidence from a different article, like this one, can mercy killing be justified? You're going to look for evidence to support it. You just need 1 sentence. You can also look in this article, no evil in his act. And you can also look in the book. Oh my gosh, but Miss Amador, that book is 107 pages long. How am I supposed to know where to look? I'm feeling really gracious this week, so I gave you guys some page numbers of the places I think you would pull evidence from. Pages 45 to 46, page 91, or pages 102 to 106. It's down there in the notes. So when you go here, If you scroll, you'll be able to see what page number you're on, and you can read through and find the sentence that supports it. So that's how you find one piece of evidence. If I were you, I would probably pull one piece of evidence from an article, and then when I move here, I would look in the book of Mice and Men just to tie everything together to make it even. When we cite our second piece of evidence, we're going to use the same format according to whatever source you use. You're going to put either on page or in paragraph. And then we're going to comma, space, quotation mark, and we're going to copy and paste whatever evidence we find. Both pieces of evidence are supporting the same reason that you stated up here. Both pieces of evidence are supporting the same reason. So make sure you find two different pieces of evidence to support the same reason. So if you are talking about financial cost or healthcare or anything like that, then you don't want to cite a piece of evidence that talks about how it relieves pain and suffering, because that does not have anything to do with the cost. So make sure you're keeping your evidence on topic. The notes will be especially helpful to you. Remember, you have 3 articles you can choose from. They will all be attached to this assignment. And then you can also look at the book, and I showed you which pages you need to look at. Remember, if you have any questions, email us. All you needed to do today was find 2 pieces of evidence. Make sure they're strong, make sure they're good. Type them out, use the appropriate sentence frames, and then tomorrow you'll work on the explanation portion.